Well, there goes 11. Hello, everyone connected.
Good morning.
And today we're here as ePace with Erda here, our CEO, and with Bloomreach, actually. And we should have Christina Trankoma from Bloomreach on the call.
We give less than 1 minute to wait for latecomers, but then we jump on the program as we have a lot of numbers, a lot of content, and we want to share it all with you. So 1 minute is gone as I see the timing in the studio. So we can start with Christina. Christina, the first move is yours. So come on.
Maybe before we start, just a little side note. If anyone at any time wants to throw in some questions, just feel free to scan the QR code on the slide. That will bring you to Slido. And there we have the questions here on screen. So we see them. We will react as possible. Christina, the stage is yours.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Sorry, it did not allow me to unmute. So thank you again for joining us live. And thank you for the opportunity to present you this webinar today together with ePace. For those that are perhaps less familiar with Bloomreach, we are a personalization and single intelligence platform. And guys, maybe if, I'm not sure if you're going to be sharing the slides as well, but maybe we can start with that as well in a second. But I wanted to say genuine thanks to everyone that is joining us live, and I'm really excited for you to be able to witness what we have prepared for you today. I know that the pharma, OTC, and healthcare sector is pretty specific in terms of the amount of campaigns that you are running and how you can work with customer data. So the ePace team prepared a great presentation about what are the best strategies when it comes to CRM. From our end, and representing Bloomreach, I also wanted to point out the fact that we do take data security here at Bloomreach really seriously. We do hold multiple certifications, and which I believe is really important for regulated industries like yours. As you can see, SOC 2 types of reports, ISO certifications, but also what is important to mention, this is not only theoretical. On the right-hand side, you can see some of the brands that we already do partner up with when it comes to personalization and powering better customer experiences. So making sure you understand your customers really well, their preferences, and then using this information to maximize the potential of the data, and in the end of the day, powering better customer experiences. And maybe one last thing to mention from my side is why Bloomreach and ePace. This might sound a little bit cocky, but I feel like a great platform needs a great implementation partner. So it's really important to make sure that really you not only get the platform, but a great partnership from someone that really understands your industry and the vertical. And I'm pretty sure that what you're about to see is going to prove just that. So without further ado, I would pass it on to the ePace team. And yeah, I can't wait to see for you to see what we prepared for you today.
Thank you, Christina. I take it from here. We skip presentation of ePace. You can learn it from webpage or other sources. We jump into the content we have prepared for you for today. There is a lot of numbers, a lot of content, so we go just through. I am Jaroslav Novak, I'm the founder of ePace, and with me in the studio is Dominik Duchek, which is a business lead, and together we are doing and providing business consultations for any client who would like to move forward. And I will guide you through the first and the third part. We have 3 parts all together, and Dominik will show you the middle part regarding segmentation. Everything makes great sense. Stay with us till the end, because the story will continue, and the final grand finale is very soon, as we would like to fit in 45 minutes and then some questions from your side. So the first part is about contact base. If the CRM is the engine, your contact base is the fuel. Today we talk about the most valuable thing we have together, and that's exactly the contact base. Let me start with one simple idea. The contact base is the only audience we truly own. Our paid ads, we rent them. Social media followers, the platform owns them. But the contact base is ours. I mean, yours as a client. And in OTC pharmacy, where the same customer buys again and again, that ownership is everything. Everything else we will show you today sits on top of it. Segmentation sits on the contact base. Vendor marketing sits on the contact base. The pharmacy monetization sits on the contact base. No base, no business. Now look at these three numbers because they explain why this is urgent. First, 20 to 40%. Every single year, a brand loses 20 to 40% of its marketable base. Not because customer leaves, because of decay, spam traps, and silent churn. It happens quietly, about 2% every month. So most teams never notice. Second, 70 to 90%. Most of the people who visit a pharmacy website stay anonymous. They look, they leave, and we never know who they were. We pay to bring them, and we cannot talk to them again. Third, and this is the one of the finance people in the room, if there are any, one contact is worth, and this is the pharmacy standard and average, one contact is worth between 50 cents and €3 and 30 cents every month. So every contact we lose is not a row in a database. It is lost recurring revenue. So here is the picture for today. Everything we have built so far, that was the runway. Today the plane takes off. Contact base, then segmentation, then monetization. Let me show you how. If the contact base is the asset, then the first job is to map it completely and then keep mapping it. And this situation occurs every time we enter the customer environment and ecosystems and we witness the same things. Every signal a customer gives us flows into one place, a single living customer profile inside a CDP. In our case, in Bloomreach. In your case, another CDP or Martech stack. It doesn't matter. What do we need into it? Four things. Maybe five.
Yeah.
You have to map every touch point you are running in your ecosystem. Web behavior, purchases, email and SMS engagement, every form for sign up, everywhere, online, offline. And of course, offline behavior. Everything connect together. Map it and find those leaky buckets where you are losing some of contacts, where it is not a perfect story. And this is a nice homework also for you. We have a list and checklist in the end of this section. And once you map all contacts you can, it leads to segmentation. Later on, Dominik Duchek will lead us through this part. And it's not about creating 10, 20, or 50 segments. It leads to hundreds of segments. So we mapped what we have, and we can continue. I click the slide. Once you have a map, you can build a new touch points, capture intentions in many ways. There are dozens of use cases you can build up and start mapping moments in which you can collect a new contact and capture it. Now we are showing one of the examples, capture intention. If you are tracking behavior on the web page or in your eShop, you can track almost everything, and you can find out there are a lot of moments in which you can capture a new contact. And maybe these are the basics you've heard many times before, but this still remains very important as we witness this every day. This is not completely done on the side of customers. And every single contact you can capture counts, because through the time it's bigger and bigger, and your contact base is growing. Just an example, we run this use case at our client, and within the first 7 days we collected 900 new contacts. conversion rate, approximately 4%. And maybe you say 900%, it's not so much, but within a year, it's 50,000 new contacts.
And honestly, if I may add, it's something that when we designed this use case, we were like, okay, this is something simple. We've seen it many times before. But when we actually went ahead and put it on, we were surprised how it expanded the capability of getting more contacts out of the same traffic. Effectively, if we look at the revenue per contact, which we showed earlier, those 50,000 people start to be sincerely quite interesting in this concept. Yeah. And that kind of connects all the use cases showing here how something seemingly small can project into multiple leaky bucket fix that then end up bringing solid revenue. So, yeah.
Thank you, Dominic. I will jump to another slide. So, growing the base is one half. The other half is keeping it. And the hardest moment is when a customer decides to leave. Again, something you have heard before. But when someone clicks unsubscribe, most brands just say goodbye. We don't. We offer choice instead. There are several alternatives. Let's name me 3 of them. One, the customer has an opportunity to lower the email frequency. Maybe they don't want to leave. They just want fewer emails. 2, pause for 7 to 90 days. A break, not a breakup. Number 3, choose a preferred topic. Hear only what matters to them. This is the unsubscribe prevention use case we launched on every...
A bunch of times already.
Bunch of times, exactly, already. Like every time we propose this option to run. And look what happened. 17,500 unsubscribe clicks intercepted. So we entered the customer journey and offered him an opportunity to choose what's better, to leave or to set up the intensity and frequency of communication on the interest they have. And in pharma, it's even more important because we have healthy and health urgency they are solving every day when entering your e-shops or your environment. So intensity matters and interest matters. Of course, we have a lot of categories and products like beauty, longevity, and so on. But the urgency, healthy urgency in OTC pharma business is something very specific. So 5% save rate, again, it doesn't sound just fantastic, but every day your contact base is growing. And the money, almost 90,000 euro value of safe contacts, because now you know that every contact has its value, and this is very important. The last but not least is something we call forensic database audit, and very often the customers we are helping are using softwares and applications and environment which is not serving the purpose of their communication intensity and everything. So they very often do something like marking customers as an active, and the rules they use are very strange. There is very often dictate of price of the license, the capacity of the application they use, and many strange reasons which leads to leaky bucket of the contact base, and they are marking a lot of contacts as dead contacts they will never use. It happens, it's unbelievable, but we did a lot of forensic audits, and we found, in this case, we have on the slide, we found another 550,000 contacts which were declared as a dead, and we brought them back to the contact base. It led within 4 months to revenue of 282k euro, and we tripled the database as there was an increment of 200%. We brought them back. So we don't leave there anybody, and we dig in the past, in the data, and we are searching for contacts which were declared as a dead or inactive. And now consider the fact that in a pharma business, you have some health urgency you are solving. You have a flu, and after 14 days, you become inactive because your problem is solved. And somebody says you are a dead contact, inactive, useless. So they will sign you out. And this is something we fight every time against. And we are bringing a bunch of contacts into the game, and quite successfully. So
I find this fascinating, all the way, like the consistency with which this happens, because everybody internally feels like, yep, these things are taken care of. But then you come in and you see, well, but there is a part of the database that was crossed out simply to save €1,000 per year on licensing costs for whatever tool is in.
Yeah.
Why? And it happens way often than I would like it to. I mean, it's good for us, but in the end, why keep them left out?
Yeah, wasted potential. So let me close this part with the whole picture. A bigger, cleaner, well-mapped base leads to sharper segments. Sharper segments mean more inventory to monetize. And that's exactly the part where Dominic will start in a few minutes. So some key takeaways from the first part, 5 points. Never give up mapping entry points of new contacts into your environment, online, offline. Doesn't matter, customer care, doesn't matter where, just map it. And it's a continuous work, monthly hygiene, I would call it. It's not a project. And ask your teams or make your homework to bring the numbers on the table, and you will see that something is wrong every time somewhere. I'm not telling that everybody is doing it wrong, but you always find some points for improvement, and there is always a leaks in your bucket. And if you fix it, your customer base and contact base will grow. Offer a choice, not a goodbye for the first touch of the customer, and the lost are not dead. Recover them. It is possible. So your homework might be, if you accept this role based on this webinar, do the math of your base, count it, profile it, capture it, and defend it, because it's worth for it. And at this point, once we have a contact base fixed and we can proceed to segmentation. That's the second part of the story. Dominic will guide you through in a second. So now starts the journey of bringing more revenue. Now we just prepared the foundation, and now the story continues in how to earn the money there, how to find them. Dominic, take it from here, please.
Thanks. Yeah. While it's usually the easiest and the cheapest thing to do and start with, fixing leaky buckets and getting contacts to stay, giving them choices, it is really segmentation and the part where you determine who is engaged in which way and when, what brings the most money in our experience. And that's why we've been focusing a lot lately on this part of the overall stack and overall mix. But before you actually can start and going deeper into, micro segments and the exciting part of their omnichannel orchestration, the first thing that's, I think, crucial to ask is, how do you actually know? How do you know if the base is well engaged? How do you measure the impact of segments? How do you measure the impact of the utilization of your own media? Because, as mentioned, that's where the value stands. Now, throughout the career and throughout the work we've done with our clients and in the overall industry, and this doesn't concern only pharma, this is pretty much universal in most of the industries, you have plenty of metrics. And that's the thing. Like, you could be looking at some of the crucial ones, but when, for example, we take the AOV, average order value, this thing tells you how large is the order of each customer on average. So if you say we want to get more out of our database, we want to get more money from who we already talked to, following AOV doesn't give you the full picture. Yeah, it maybe lifts up if you want to get more per purchase, but you're blind to frequency, you're blind to loyalty. These things do not really project into the AOV. And the same goes with the customer lifetime value or the conversion rate. All these have holes which kind of leave you, let's say, out of the picture for part of the customer journey. Now, in our practice, the way we solve this, there are two. One is simpler, ideal for quicker executions, simple stacks, or overall scenarios where you just need a quick answer and a feel. And that is the revenue per contact, because it kind of merges all the effects mentioned. If the average order value increases, you probably see it in the revenue per contact as well. And same for the lifetime value. More lifetime value means that each contact brings more. Same for conversion rates. So it's a simple way out, although also it is limited because you sometimes may struggle to see how well the customer base performs around the life cycle. So, is the top part of my bucket solid or is it leaking or not? That's what brings us to the second thing, and that's the kind of benchmarked aggregated score. Just a side note, this is something more advanced or more prone to being set up properly and properly defined. But the way this works and how it helps segmentation is kind of obvious. You put KPIs over each part of the funnel process, and then you benchmark them. So, for example, with the data we have, we expect the conversion rate to be between, let's say, around 2%. Then you look at the actual one and make the score. And for all the categories and all the relevant KPIs, you then get the scoring, which tells you, is it healthy or is it not healthy? But besides that, you also get the information. Where is the leaky bucket? And then you can combine this and push this into the segments and know, okay, we need to push for segments in the activation phase because they are falling out. So that's one of the key things to keep in mind. Always try to keep the eyes open and then think about what you can do with this information. Usually there are a bunch of levers which you can pull or impacts maybe that you want to find. One being bigger baskets, aka the order value goes up, more orders or less people leaving. That's what Jarda was talking about. Important part, really. Share of wallet, basically getting the market to come to you instead of the competitors. And sometimes what's even interesting is the latent part of the audience, aka we didn't know we could get this thing solved with you. We didn't even know we have this problem. A bit more complicated category, but yeah, essentially. So you have all this data and you have all these targets you could potentially, aim for and try to improve, which brings you into the how part of the equation. So how could I improve those leverages? How can I improve what's shown on the dashboard or in the revenue per contact? And again, across the plateau of tools we have, there are some of the three basics, I'd say. One being the simple rule set. So this is what we usually encounter when we start working with stacks that, they've been working well, but they kind of look forward to what could come next. Simple rules are just, a person X bought something from the Y category. And that means they are interested in Y. Then comes the RFM, which, while being a relatively good tool, I think, because it's usually easy to set up, most of the marketing stacks kind of are ready for you to do it. We feel like, one, it's a bit old per se. We could get more out of our data.
Yeah, and people, your customers or customers in pharma don't think in RFM. They think my kid has a flu, or I take magnesium because I'm in stress. So they don't think RFM. They have their needs and urgency in our business of healthcare. So we have to react properly, and RFM is not helping this, actually.
Yeah, because it strips away all the behavioral parts of the needs of the customers, which end up being the most relevant. So try building an email or an ad or an SMS message knowing only that the customer you're talking to, yeah, he buys a lot. Okay.
Or I have a good idea. Once somebody is healthy and doesn't need any cure or medication or OTC pharma products, we can send him, because he's in the segment needs attention or at risk already. So we send him an email and tell him, go outside. Today is a freezing weather. Maybe you get ill and you can buy something from us. It's not the point, right?
Yeah. Which brings us over to behavior, because that's the key. And it's been proven multiple times, be it on the academical, theoretical level, but also, more importantly, maybe even on the practical level and being kind of reachable. So, if we overlap, imagine talking to your database in the behavior model. You know people who could order for more because you know what they're interested in, but maybe they're dropping off. Same way, you can get them to buy more often by seeing how often they come to you, how do they behave, and you can follow up on that. Maybe push more on the frequency end, and you can see it in the data. But even more importantly, sometimes you can see what people think about from the behavior, mostly, those subtle signs of somebody browsing something or just spending time reading a blog post within your ecosystem. And getting this data, getting into a behavior model can tell you, yes, of course, this person is getting back pain pills from you, but they've been eyeing out on proteins. Maybe they're starting to work out. You could get them into a customer journey, helping them with the workout. Sure, they'll still buy your back pain pills and you should keep them engaged and, you have your deal and everything, but you could help them expand and they'll go with you. So I think that the behavior model with the data now, that's the way. And it also reflects on what we call the RFM trap, which is exactly what we kind of mentioned with the flu. If you get a flu, you start buying like crazy. And soon enough, you'll be the champion of RFM. But then your need suddenly plummets and you're down on the ground. In behavior, it's kind of obvious. But in RFM, you're missing out. Which is why currently more and more of the marketing stacks are moving more towards being able to make each customer into what most of you know as marketing personas. So you could way easier now match people to personas that you've made before with the stack, seeing how they themselves mark what they're interested. That it's no longer a guessing game. And scoring by behavior also allows you to see way deeply into the behavior of your segments. And with the data stack nowadays, you could have, and we've tested this, hundreds of segments and still serve them all. I mean, if you look at this, this is from one of our segmentation models that, of course, it's on dummy data, but it allows you to see all the segments, how they develop in time, and based on these facts, so, I've seen that there is a spike in one of our segments, but as you see here, it's maybe not well covered with communication. So we tell the marketing team, guys, there is a spike in the segment size, and maybe you should talk about it, because looking at revenue per email, as we do now, you can see that it's high. So why not talk to these people more? We could utilize the potential of the base simply based on the data. And while here, this is, I would say, 40 to 50 segments, there isn't much limitation from the technical standpoint on making it 100 or 500. And the views you can have are just stunning on the stack. Of course, this runs in cooperation with Bloomreach, but yeah.
Yeah, and very, very important thing is the granularity of the segment size. Very often we adjust it like to three types, major segment, latent segment, or marginal from perspective of interests. So we help marketing to target demanded or preferred size of the segment. So there is a lot of segments from size perspective, and you can target it very easily and smoothly bringing it to Bloomreach or any other Martech stack. So the combinations and granularity even increase the number of segments and a lot of signals we are collecting. Maybe Dominic will speak about it later. Is subject to discuss, to tune up, to measure, to test, and to bring into the life on the customer side or our client side.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, all these segments are living organism which develops in time, and more with the sudden changes of customer behavior which are common these days, and of course with the seasonality, you should be able to adjust quickly.
And maybe what somebody would ask, one customer lives or stays in more segments regarding interests and not only urgency and health, but also from lifestyle perspective and other perspectives. So one person, a man or lady can stay in more than one segment for targeting purpose.
Yeah, but this also brings up a challenge that we've been talking and thinking about in the past quite a lot. And maybe this could be an inspiration for those of you watching. But it's been half an hour and we still haven't said the buzzword, the word that everybody now talks about. I'm getting a bit allergic there, but AI. Yeah. Whatever you think about AI, it allows us to serve more and more segment quickly. Because imagine being able to see 1,000 segments, but on a regular marketing team of, let's say, 5 to 10 people, being able to serve this segment. Which is why we kind of went ahead and we can now partly automate these things with, the marketing team looking at the data, finding a segment that's underserved, then going in a tool which is built on AI, asking it, okay, we want to promote back pain pills, other way around. And then you have a tool that's connected to your own data, your own segments, and it reaches out and looks and asks, okay, which segments would be the most relevant for this? Yeah, okay, probably acute pain, because back pain is acute and we all want to get rid of it ideally ASAP. And there is a segment for that. So maybe you want to target it and say, okay, that's cool. Or musculoskeletal issues. Yeah. So this way, the tool allows you to pick your own segments from your own data and kind of select all. And when you do that, you see you also have the levels of maybe acute pain. Everybody who is in acute pain could benefit from this. In the lifestyle segments like sport and recovery, that's fewer people who might suffer from back pain. So we just keep it the most active people now searching for something. And this way you can connect the interest of the base with your business interests. And with your CDP stack, then just carry it over by a click of a button. To me, this is pretty insane. Just like carry it over, paste it in. This is on the Bloomreach stack, of course. And you can plug and play. This way you're in with your segments relatively fast. Now, a point that Jaroslav has mentioned, that's the interest half-life, and that's something typical for pharma and OTCs. The fact that if I have a lifestyle need, I'm a sports person, not much these days, but hey, then my shopping behavior will be different from yours when you're in pain. I hope you're not in pain, but if you were, which you're hopefully not, then we would be shopping differently. I would want to get my protein all over again, but in a more steady pace, while you would need quick relief and then maybe some upkeep with few vitamins and, keeping healthy. But you would spike. And that's why you should keep in mind that in segments, this should be reflected.
Yes, time or half-life. Time is something we play for all. Because we don't have time in private lives. But in business, if you are buying a car, you have 20 to 30 days when you are selecting car and so on. Coffee machine once in the past was 9 months that people are selecting coffee machine 9 months. But if you are ill, if you are not well, we are that's the race for seconds and minutes maybe, and then it's gone. So we have to react in real time, tracking the behavior and segmenting in real time, very quickly, very relevant. I don't like the hyper personalization word, but well, why not? But still, we are in a pharma business, Dominic. So what should we all be aware of?
That's certainly going to be the legal part. Here it's a quick disclaimer because neither I or Jaroslav are lawyers, but the point is this playground stands exclusively on first-party data. You have the information about your customers and you're judging based on their behavior. They don't implicitly need to tell you. So this is kind of the way which allows you to do all this. But of course, the implication, if you're going down these waters, please make sure that the terms of data handling are proper and safe. It's a proven thing. It can be done. Just be careful. And then lastly, for activation of the stack. And that's a thing where it goes as a shout out to Bloomreach with their omnichannel options on activating, because when you know the stack and you are able to follow it, then it's ideal to be able to activate on multiple layers. It's not just an email. Your own media is not just an email. I think that's a message that should be allowed to sink in a bit, because adjusting the website based on the segment, going into inbox of SMS, or even sending offline letters. I think that's an understated channel in some cases, and we've seen success still. Last year, a good campaign. So yeah, keep that in mind.
Yeah, we are talking about omnichannel. Everybody understands that. And Martech Tech's CDPs and all those solutions are offering quite a palette and variety of channels. I should know it exactly, but I think I know it. But Bloomreach is offering 17 channels within omnichannel connection and connectivity. So a lot of options.
And just few limits. But honestly, you can start within the stack that you currently have. We've seen that as well. While it is superb to come up with a stack that allows for truly multi-channel, omnichannel. Wow, that's great wording. There usually are a few things that you can start off with right away. That being, from our experience, just don't blast emails on your whole base. I know it's not the first time you're probably hearing this, but it's a common theme. As surprising as it might sound to enlightened marketers. Building templates, shipping multiple campaigns per week, but not to everybody, of course, in spite of what I talked about in point 1. And lastly, mind the fatigue gap. The base can get tired of emails on a pretty quick base. So a few tips. And then a few know-how points or something, we could share a bit from our practice. Mostly that the fatigue is really destructive. As mentioned earlier, it can kill most of your performance. Surprisingly enough, discounts going for mega minus 80% may, in the pharma industry, bring your trust aspect down and kind of backfire your way. And lastly, if you are offering a brand that's well known in your portfolio, mention it. It helps you promote better something that people understand, not just a pain. That's from what we've encountered. And these things, they don't come out of nowhere. We've worked with the segmentation, with the behavioral model that we introduced here. So just to give numbers, depending on the client, of course, we cannot disclose everything in detail, but the attributed uplifts in newsletters, interesting number, and overall revenue impact up to 20%. I think that's a solid case to think about behavior and about what customers might be interested in. But what is important here is that it's not just about segments, and that you can get money from your database, not only from the customers, but if you're working with vendors, they are another income stream. And that's the point where Jaroslav can take over again and lead us.
Yeah, thank you, Dominic. It's quite a huge and quite intensive story we are revealing right now. To anybody listening or watching this webinar, we are aware it's not a black and white. We are simplifying those things to highlight the main principles and the aha moments, which might be hidden for you or for many of managers we encounter every day. So this is a kind of simplification, but on a real cases and numbers we achieved already. So if you want to move deeper into any chapter we reveal today, just stay in contact and ask us. The last part Dominic told you about is that section 1 revealed, cleaned and grew the base. Section 2, now Dominic has just finished, turned it into hundreds of microsegments with real revenue per customer. This last part is where that base starts paying you back a second time. Vendors pay to reach it. And here's the whole idea in one move. Today, everyone runs vendor marketing backwards, in our opinion, of course. The vendor pays, and then you go looking for someone to send it to. And we say, flip it. Start from what the customer already wants, then invite the vendors who can serve that momentum. Today, flat fee, one banner, whole base, no targeting. I think a lot of brands could tell the story of hundreds of promo formats and promotions, and not driven communication from contact strategy like intensity and frequency capping doesn't exist or is not important. At the same time, the customer base you have is the most important asset you have. So you should take care and pamper it accordingly. Means to send everybody just a message he is willing to receive. So today reality is quite wild. The future means that you map live demand in the base and sell it by segment and moment, price on CPM, for example, frequency capped, and omnichannel. An intelligent attention exchange where relevance wins, not the deepest pocket. That's the reality we observe, the deepest pocket. And at the same time, what you want as an e-shop in pharmacy. You want to have satisfied customer who buys what he or she wants or needs or might need, and you are inviting vendors into these moments, not accepting dictate of the deepest pocket. It pays off. It's a win-win situation. Why is it important today and relevant? Because, for example, Amazon is approaching 10% of revenue coming from entire turnover, and the retail media as an industry is growing every year, and is growing very fast. And once you have your own media, you can monetize it because the margin is really high, from 70 to 90%. It depends how smart you run it. And employing and accommodating these micro segmentations and AI engines, helping you distribute the messages omnichannel across the contact base, that's the way you can follow, because technology is already here and the growth is obvious. And more than that, a lot of traffic of your site or e-shop in pharmacy site remains anonymous. Means no matter what tool you are using or anybody is using today, you are approaching like only 20% of known traffic. The rest is still anonymous, but you don't have to approach only the 20% of known traffic, and 20% it's really high. The average is from 1.5% to 13% on average. The better brands maybe reach 20%, but I would like to see some proofs very often. But still you have other channels: email, app push, web browser push notifications. As we mentioned, like 17 channels you can enter with very relevant message and proposition. So we have a use for CDP and MarTech stacks. We have a use for data, turning customer base into microsegments, and we have vehicles to deliver the messages. So why not to do it, and why not to increase revenue? Because as we know and witnesses many times before, like 5 years ago, we started with this. If you are sending a newsletter to 1 million, for example, 1 million contacts in your base, always what we did, we took just 5% of the base, contact base, precisely targeted, and we delivered the same revenue as it was sent to 1 million, to the whole base. So the question is, what the rest? That's the opportunity. What to offer to the others who didn't react and become inactive, lapsed, and misleading statuses they received for their behavior, because the message was not relevant. So the question is, what to send to the rest of the contact base? Like 90% is lying idle. That's the opportunity, not zero-sum trade. To proceed even further, pharma has a very nice momentum, selling moments. You can plan campaigns, you can sell campaigns, and even more, you can make an auction between vendors, because your contact base is limited, still growing, and we showed how. Well segmented, we showed example how, but still there is a ceiling, there is a maximum you can send them from perspective of capacity, frequency, and contact strategy. So how to best use the contact base is about driving the price of contact. VIP customers are more expensive. Active customers in very certain micro segment are more expensive than a broader segment we offer. And also the number of formats you use and can sell. Everything is influencing the price. And we know all of that. And that means you can plan it. You can turn it into revenue. And for the first thing, map the opportunities. Then invite the vendors in. Don't accept the dictate from vendors. That's not sustainable game, and you care about your contact base.
And honestly, in the end, the vendors are also winning if you are able to bring their message to the relevant audience. Like, it's a win-win scenario. They can get more for their money.
Yes, because they are leaving the reach strategy as the primer strategy. Send it to as many people as you can. Is dying already, and they are more and more interested in conversions and selling the business. Of course, also collecting these intentions and demands from the, well, time is running. So let's proceed. We can talk later, peer-to-peer. This is a huge topic. We can go deeper and deeper.
For hours.
For hours. If you do it right, across all channels, how many channels? It means that you have zero cannibalization. If you are driving the frequency and intensity of communication right into proper and relevant segments, you are the winner. It's a long game, but you can gain your 70 to 90% gross margin. And today the technology is already there, so why to wait? And as the last, maybe some summary: more contacts, more value, media revenue. Your contact base is your asset, and your eShop is your media property. So you can use it the right way, or the way we showed. And if you are asking how we can manage it, today we are collecting, or we are supporting salesmen selling the inventory and campaigns, so they can collect it in a way which is very easy, incorporated and integrated with media planning engine. And one day maybe you can observe a screen, which is right now an example on your screens, when, for example, Marek, let's give him this name, is sitting in front of the monitor and is observing what's the utilization of my contact base, who didn't get right message and who is not monetized, and what are the peaks right now, who to invite to these opportunities, and so on, and many information, how much money we gained last 24 hours, and how the base is performing, and what peaks are coming and are not sold yet, and so on and so on. So the information are already here, and opportunities how to handle it also. And when I'm looking at time, it's 11:50, so maybe it's time for some questions. Just from organization point of view, everybody who were and was here today will receive materials and this video afterwards. We are also here to offer you some bonuses. You will find it also in emails. And the best way to go deeper and farther is to contact us and to make calls, maybe visits, whatsoever, because you have all information within a reach and you can have it fast. And maybe after an hour we can speak with each other again.
That's fast indeed. Anyhow, it's been a lot. 3 difficult and demanding categories of handling with data. If you want, now is the time to ask the hardest questions in terms of segmentations and handling data and database health and maybe getting it off to vendors. So as mentioned at the beginning, you can use the QR code to reach Slido and maybe throw in some of your questions, or alternatively, we'll be ready to get in touch whenever convenient. So, yeah.
I have one question to you, Dominic, if I may. Is this microsegmentation engine we showed somehow limited to existing or only one technology? I know we are familiar with Bloomreach. We know how to set it there very quickly. We are talking about 1 month ramp up if the data are in good shape, and we can start immediately and influence the email marketing and other channel marketing from one day to another. We can be pretty fast if the data are there already. In Bloomreach, we are like at home, of course, but is it limited somehow? Do I have to have a Bloomreach to run this?
So the answer here is pretty much hidden in detail. In theory, not necessarily. As we've shown earlier, having native access to 17 verticals just allows you to leverage the entire microsegment system way more seamlessly. But in the end, handling the information on your current stack and channels can be a good way to, start somewhere and progress towards excellence in terms of omnichannel and everything. I know it sounds a bit buzzwordy, but yeah, in essence, you can activate whatever stack you have, as much as seamless integration makes it easier.
Yeah, very often question, I can see it also, is how much does it cost? The party might be expensive, but how to say it? It depends on the situation of the client, stack, data, whatsoever. We can know really quickly in weeks what can be done and what's the potential, what's the business impact we can deliver, and it always pays off. Hundreds and hundreds of return of investment very quickly within 3 or 6 months. It depends on the situation in which the customer is already, what data they are, what stack they use. I know a lot of companies are investing in retail media right now, and also the future AI, MCP servers, and everything is on daily agenda of LinkedIn. 2 days ago, Bloomreach announced also together with Databricks that they are partners for piloting a new customer lake solution from Databricks. So that's a great story, because Bloomreach itself is inside of the Bloomreach is agentic already a long time, and now the connectivity through AI protocols and MCP servers is even more thrilling information, as it is the way forward. So everybody is solving it, and it pays off, definitely, absolutely.
It is coming, and it's inevitable.
Yeah, it is coming, and it's inevitable. And yeah, How much costs forensic database audit? It depends, but it's less than you think it is. Just it depends on the size of the business. And we
usually also data complexity plays a huge role of where things may be hidden. But again, with revenue per contact, usually the equation ends up decent.
So if there remain some unanswered questions, we will do it after the webinar. We will contact each of you, or not, if you are willing not to, but we will share the materials with you and you can lay your questions directly to us. And for today, probably we are over.
Yeah.
And Christina, are you still with us? I don't see the list of attendees.
Yes, I'm still here. It was super valuable. And thank you for walking us through the best practices. It was great to see it from the different perspective. Obviously, we're all about the data and how to maximize it, but hearing it from the other side, what strategies and how to approach them was super beneficial. So hopefully everyone that joined us live also found the insights super helpful.
Thank you very much. There is more and more examples we have. Can't fit it into 1 hour of webinar, but feel free to ask. As long as we are in direct contact, it's for free, and you can speed up or ask anything you want privately. Thank you for being here today with us. Thank you for your attention if you are still with us. And I wish you nothing but the best in progressing in this agenda. And you are not alone. We are here to support you. Just feel free to ask.
Yeah. Thank you for your time. And keep in mind that what was shown is possible. It's not just a story. It's things that were done and that are actively being worked on. So I wish you all the best and all the luck.
See you later. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you.
Goodbye. Thanks.